So today we are going to be installing the subfloors in the bathroom in my house that I'm working on, and it is going to be pretty in depth, so let's hop right into it. Now in here I am going to be doing an OSB over this just because it's not completely level, and then I will use a Schluter underlayment. That's not true, I'm going to use the Schluter knockoff from Home Depot, but it's just a membrane that will allow me to connect the tile to the OSB without it ever popping or ever having any chances of popping. So right now my next step is getting that 1/2-inch OSB laid. Alright, so as usual, I am horribly bad at keeping my phone that I use to record charged. So I got a lot of work done off camera. I finished the 3 coats of mud, so the walls are completely flat. The subfloor is in and ready to get the underlayment laid for the tile floors, because you can't lay the mud and tile directly on the OSB because it expands and contracts, but I'll go into that as I start to work on it. I have 2 coats of primer on the ceiling and 1 coat of primer on the walls, and the reason I did 2 coats on the ceiling is because I am going to leave the ceiling this flat white from the primer, and then on the walls I'm going to be doing an eggshell white just so it's nice and easy to clean for whoever's going to be staying in here. Like I said, this is going to be a rental when I'm done with it. And then from there I'm going to move on to the floors once I have 1 heavy coat of the actual white on the walls, and when I do the floors I will show you all of that tile. But for now I'm going to hop directly into painting these walls so I can get a move on the floor. All right, so I got the first coat of paint on. I usually try to do 1 super heavy one and just leave it at that, just so I don't have to go back, but I think I'm gonna have to do a 2nd coat of paint. And the paint that I'm using on the wall is a Behr product, and it's an eggshell, and then it's just the cheapest option from Home Depot that I went with. And I usually use it, but it works pretty well. So next I'm gonna be moving onto the floor. I have to lay a coat of mortar, and I'm going to be using a trowel to pull it, and then I am going to be laying this underlayment over it, and it's a knockoff Schluter brand, and it's the only thing that Home Depot carries, so I needed it relatively quickly, so that is what I went with. Now in the past, since this is rolled up, I've had issues with it wanting to peel up on the edges, just where it would be long ways. I never have any issues with the actual length, but where it is short ways, it wants to peel up from the floor just because of how it's rolled up, and I have not really found a solution for that. So what I think I'm going to do is take the actual tile and then lay it all the way through here, the boxes of tile that is, and I'm going to lay it all the way through here. That way there is nothing that is going to stop this from peeling back up, and it'll actually bond to the subfloor. And then once I go to lay the tile over it, will be all set, because the weight of the tile is going to actually hold it down, and the mortar underneath is also going to be holding it down, so you're not going to have to worry about it ever peeling back up. Now another thing I noticed is in the laundry room I have my exhaust for the dryer, and I have the water lines for the washing machine, but as you'll probably realize, I don't have a plug, and I also don't have a plug for the electric dryer. So I kind of screwed myself because I finished this without putting those in. So what I am going to have to do is cut in a plug just above this, and then from underneath I have access down there, and I'm just gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way, like if it were already existing. I'm gonna have to drill a hole in the baseboard into the basement, and then shoot 2 wires up. One is gonna be a wire for the 220 line for the dryer, and then the other one is going to be a 110 line for the actual washing machine itself. I could do a gas line, but that's going to be even harder, so I'm not even going to bother with it. And the dryer that I have is electric. So I'm going to get the floors put in and the vanity and toilet in just because I need a bathroom on this first floor. It's starting to get a little bit annoying, the fact that I can't use the bathroom. I have to go all the way downstairs. So I'm gonna focus on that, and then I'll worry about the electric issue later, and then we'll kind of go from there with different plans. Oh, and a side note, the reason I didn't paint in here is because I'm going to be doing tile from the floor to the ceiling. So it is just got the 3 coats of mud with some sanding. All right, so I just finished laying the underlayment for the tile, and it turned out pretty good. I'm happy with how it went compared to the last one that I did. The last time I used this stuff, it was an absolute pain in the butt. I had an issue where it was just uneven after it set, and it was causing the tile to pop up. So it just wasn't a good thing to work around, but we ended up making it work at that time. But this one went a little bit better. I'm taking some steps to kind of prevent anything from lifting. So I have all of the tile that I'm gonna be using in here, laying down on it, and you can see how it's like squeezing out. And that's what you want. You don't want it to be like lifting up and peeling. Over here even, you can kind of see how it wants to just naturally peel up. But if you just keep pressure down on it, it's gonna stay even. But like that is gonna be okay. I can float it between the mortar. So the rest of the bathroom is all good. This is okay to walk on because it is just more pressure that's going to be added to it, which in the long run will be okay. It's not going to shift anything out of level. And in here I used a ton of tiles just so I can make sure everything would stay down because it's a couple smaller pieces in there. But other than that, in the video you saw me go around the toilet. I started down here and just rolled the underlayment all the way to my first cut. And what I did was I cut over the 2 screws and then laid it flat and then went up to the water line. And once the water line was cut out, I went back to here and just traced around it with my knife and cut it out. So it was super easy, there was no measuring. And then I've got a vent back here that is currently stuffed with napkins and a bunch of other crap from demo. So my next step is going to be waiting for this to be all good, and then I'm going to put a second coat of paint on, and then we should be all right as far as that goes. So I'm going to get on that right now. So I switched over to working on the tile, and it is messing with my mind big time. It is a hexagon tile, and it's a little tricky to start laying out. So I've spent a lot of time getting it ready and getting my corner right, making sure everything's gonna line up straight and be super easy to lay. But I have probably been doing this for almost an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and I haven't even started laying mortar on the ground. So let me show you exactly what I have so far. Now, I started making cuts and lining everything up in order to make this work out correctly. And my goal was to get this half piece to land there, but I think it's gonna end up being a little bit smaller because these walls aren't square. And then I just cut this side completely flat so that it runs along this wall, and it's a super easy cut to make a bunch of different times. And in cutting out the toilet and the water for the toilet was kind of a pain in the butt too. It's super hard to actually measure off of the other tile because it's not a square that you're measuring off of. So there's probably some super easy way to do it that tile guys can do, but I don't have any fancy tools or anything. So I really should just watch a video and see if they have anything up their sleeves that they can share with me, but I am in the interest of just getting this done. So I am going to start laying some mud, getting this corner set, and then working my way down, and then just working my way out and out of the bathroom, just so I don't lock myself in. And then as I'm cutting on the tub, I am just going to work my way around this corner, and then once I'm in there, it should be a pretty straight shot to get out. Jeff has been helping me, and All right, so I just finished up all of the hexagon tile, and let me tell you, that was an absolute pain in the butt to do. It was super hard to get completely straight, and once we were running straight, it got incredibly hard to keep going straight. So if you were to do this at home, I'd recommend not doing it just because of how complex it is and how long it took me. I started this around 1 and it's like 7:45 right now, and I'm doing like a 70 square foot bathroom. So I don't think I'd recommend it to someone like I said, but with that being said, I spent a lot of time on it and it turned out dang near perfect. So this is kind of what I am working with. If you were watching, you could see how I spent a ton of time along the sides. And then when I got over into this area, I wanted to be like absolutely on point. So it is perfect around that corner. And then working our way through here, it's just tile. That's all I can say. So this was my first time using a wet saw, and that's what all these border pieces are. It's just wet from the saw, and you need 1.5 million spacers to make all these fit perfectly, and it just was not a super fun process. But like I said, I spent a lot of time on it, so it is actually dang near perfect, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So my next step is going to be letting this dry overnight. I am not going to touch it. I don't want anyone to walk on it. And then after that, I am going to use some black grout and make it all look like one cohesive piece, and then you seal it, and then I'll be good to set the toilet and the vanity. And the vanity still needs painted, so that is on the list of things to do as well. So I am going to wrap it up here for today, and I'm gonna go eat dinner because I've been working and I'm starving now. So catch you in the next thing that we're gonna be doing. So it's the next day and I got all of the spacers picked up. I just need to have this cleaned. My girlfriend's gonna give me a hand with that while I work on tiling a shower. So right now I am just working on prepping. I am getting all of the caulk out of the bottom corners from the old caulk. And then I'm just trying to figure out where I want my tile to land. So I am going to overhang the tub on this side just because I don't really like this gap that it has. And that is because I didn't double layer the drywall right there, but it's gonna be all right. I might need to put a piece of trim down here, but we will see. So like I said, I'm gonna overhang the tub about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. And then I use the laser to level all the way up, and that way I know where my tile is gonna end over there roughly, so I can put my Schluter up. And then as far as this niche goes for prep, you're technically supposed to caulk around the outside where the drywall meets the niche, but since I'm going to be using a membrane, I'm not gonna do that, and I'm just gonna run the membrane from the drywall directly into the niche itself. Technically, if water ever gets in there, the water should run from here over and down past the drywall if it is even behind the tile, which realistically it never will. So like I said, I'm not gonna caulk it. If you were using this in a different application where you were just directly applying the tile to it, you need to caulk around here just so that no water has any chance of ever getting behind the drywall there. I did get a little bit more done in the bathroom, and I worked yesterday downstairs just getting all the wiring done in the garage. But here's a look at where we are at with the bathroom. I put in a mirror, the lights over the mirror, and then I decided to hang 3 24-inch cabinets to have some extra storage. And then that is the vanity that we were working with. So we're using this. It's not totally done, but it's good enough to be used and have a bathroom on this floor again. And here is how the hexagon turned out. So today I'm gonna be working on getting the outlets installed for the washer and dryer. So I'm gonna need an outlet, probably, I'm gonna have to go above that, I believe. I might even do it over in this area, but there's also the possibility of getting it down there. So I need to spend some time and figure out where I'm gonna put it. And then I'm gonna need a 240 volt outlet up higher because it's gonna be a stacked dryer right over there. All right, in that last clip, you watched me get all of the wires ran for the laundry, and I got a little bit more work done off camera, and I apologize, I've been slacking real hard, but that is a common theme in this video. So I ended up getting all of the cabinets in here stained, and all I need to do is put another coat of varnish on them that is clear just to protect them so they don't get any scuffs or anything to ruin the actual stain. It'll just give it, like I said, that extra layer of protection. I got everything painted and cut back in, but when I was staining, I was a little heavy-handed, so I am going to have some touch-up there. Got a little bit of caulk touch-up on this wall, and I don't think I did anything in the shower besides just like final caulk around the spigot. I might do one more round of final caulk through there just to get myself a straight line so it looks a little bit better, because I'm not super happy with how that's looking. I got all of the trim up as well in here, so we are all clean with that. So pretty much my last steps are going to be final paint, get the varnish on here, and then I need to get the new door hung. And I think we are done after that in the bathroom. If you made it this far into the video, I want to say thank you. If you are looking to keep following along as I am working on stuff, definitely click that like button and subscribe, because it's going to keep you up to date with everything that I have going on. And then also, if you're looking to pick up a house in the Cleveland area that's either a fixer-upper or you're just looking to move to the area, my job is actually a realtor, so I do that full time. And if you have any interest in that, definitely reach out to me. All of my contact information is down in the description. But with all that being said, I'm gonna leave the video here. I'll catch you in the next one.